What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I wanted to sort of speculate on the new FPS game around Star Wars that was obviously just announced about 2 or 3 days ago now, and yeah, just kind of dive into some speculation on what it could be, when it could be launching, because there were actually a lot of rumours early last year that could actually point towards what this game is. Before we get into it, if you guys are new to the channel, then definitely hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. There's going to be plenty of Star Wars gaming content on the way in 2022 and beyond. But with that being said, let's get stuck right into it. So I'm sure you guys all know by now that there was a new FPS Star Wars game revealed just the other day, and if you guys haven't heard about that, then definitely check out my video on the announcement on the channel. But I'm fairly certain that pretty much every single one of you guys would have heard about that, and obviously that was some pretty big news for all of us Star Wars gaming fans who have been deprived of pretty much any first-person shooter or any shooter in general since the cancellation of Battlefront 2. Now, they didn't really give us too much information on the game. All they said was that it is going to be developed by Respawn, and Peter Hirschman is going to be sort of leading that game, which is absolutely great news. For those of you guys who don't know, Peter Hirschman actually worked on the original Battlefront games in 2004 and 2005, and then he was actually working at LucasArts during the time of like Force Unleashed and all of those really good games. He worked on Empire at War, and he's also worked on like some of the Medal of Honor games and stuff like that. So this guy absolutely knows what he's doing. Knowing that he worked on the original Battlefront games is definitely very exciting, leading into a new first-person shooter. Now, like I said, at the start of last year, probably around this time last year, or maybe, you know, Feb to March, somewhere around that time, there were a lot of rumors sort of floating around Twitter and on Reddit as well, pointing towards the fact that EA could be releasing a sort of tactical shooter in the Star Wars franchise. And obviously rumors can just be made up on the spot, but these rumors were so heavy that it was sort of gaining a lot of traction. And generally when rumors get to that point, then there is always going to be some level of truth to them. However, these rumors essentially went nowhere. Obviously none of that came to fruition. The game didn't launch and we haven't heard anything about it until now, when we obviously have heard about a first-person shooter. My little theory on this is that this shooter that they've actually just announced could actually be the tactical shooter that we sort of heard about, or, you know, was rumored early last year. Take that with a grain of salt, because that is just speculation. There's no guarantee that what was rumored is actually what this game is going to be. But that game was rumored so heavily, and it was talked about by quite a few notable leakers who they generally don't get these type of things wrong. And so it definitely seemed like there was some level of truth to that, even if it was just in the, you know, the concept phase where it was something they were talking about internally. Even if it only got to that phase and then now they have, you know, announced a first-person shooter in the Star Wars franchise, then to me that does hint heavily towards this possibly being that game that was rumored. There was a lot of talk that the game could be something similar to, say, Rainbow Six Siege, where it's that smaller scale sort of tactical shooter rather than something large scale like Battlefront 2 was. And although I would love another large scale game like Battlefront 2, a smaller scale sort of tactical multiplayer shooter would be actually amazing within the Star Wars universe. I know my good friend Mark from Split Screen, he made a really good concept on like a Republic Commando type of shooter where it was essentially Rainbow Six Siege, you know, that type of like really competitive type of game where one team is playing as Republic Commandos and the other team is playing as like an assortment of different type of droids, namely commando droids and stuff like that. And so that type of game would absolutely be amazing, and I really do hope it is something like that if it's not going to be a large scale shooter. Personally, like I said, I would prefer to have, you know, like a big Battlefront type of game, but any type of multiplayer shooter is good in my eyes, so I'm very interested to see what it could be. Now, the point that I mostly wanted to talk about when it comes to those rumors, though, is that if those rumors are true and, you know, these games are linked and it's actually the same game that was rumored early last year, that could be a really good thing for this game, because that could mean that it has been in development since early last year, or even honestly before that, rather than this game only just picking up development now. They have confirmed in the announcement that their games are already sort of underway. However, to what extent, we have no idea. They could just be in that stage of like conceptualizing the game, which technically means it's under development, but they might not have even started actually like developing the game itself. Or like I said, if these rumors were true and they're sort of linked, then there's every chance this game could be, you know, more than a year underway into its development cycle. And I really do hope that's the case, because the sooner we get this game, the better. We are absolutely deprived of, you know, multiplayer shooters within the Star Wars franchise. So honestly, the sooner we can get this game, the absolute better that will be for all of us. Now, not only is Peter Hirschman working on the game, but obviously Respawn are the ones developing the game. And for those who don't know what Respawn have done in the past. They obviously made Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, although I think this team that's actually working on this shooter is going to be a different team, but it is still the same dev company. And they also worked on both of the Titanfall games as well as Apex Legends, and obviously all three of those have been really sort of popular games. Titanfall 1 and 2 weren't super popular because they were trying to compete with Call of Duty and Battlefield, so they never really sold all that well, but they were very, very well made games, and they did, you know, the people who did play them always said that they were amazing games. I played Titanfall 1 quite a bit, and it was a really, really solid game. So Respawn definitely know how to make shooters, and essentially every game that Respawn has made has been a pretty big hit actually. They're pretty much yet to make a game that has been a bit of a bust, so Respawn are a great team to have behind this game, and with the likes of Peter Hirschman and even Vince Zampella, who was, you know, leading the charge on a Fallen Order, these guys definitely know what they're doing, and hopefully that results in a really polished game. Now, the other great thing about Respawn is they're not so closely tied to EA compared to the likes of DICE, for example, and they often seem to be able to get their own way compared to a company like DICE, who essentially have to do anything that EA tell them, it seems. But with Respawn, they actually seem to be a little bit more free in what they can do, I guess. With the way that EA and DICE are sort of going at the moment, their reputation obviously isn't that great with Battlefield 2042 at the moment. That game is a little bit of a mess, so I think the further this game can be from EA is probably the better, to be honest, in this current state. And so the fact that it is Respawn and not DICE is a really good thing in my opinion. I do really enjoy DICE games, but I think we need something a bit more stable, and for me, Respawn are essentially one of the most stable dev companies out there. Like I said, pretty much every game that they make is an absolute banger, and so I'm definitely happy that Respawn are at the helm. Now, as for when the game could be releasing, my guess would probably be 2023, maybe even 2024. It kind of just depends on the type of game that it is. If the rumors were true that, you know, they were working on a tactical shooter and this is that game, then I think 2023 is somewhat realistic if it's been in development since maybe, you know, late 2020 or something. If the rumors were coming out in early 2021, then yeah, there's a chance they were working on it for a few months before that. So a 3-year development cycle and releasing in 2023 is, you know, decent enough in my opinion to make a high quality game. And if that's the case, then hopefully 2023 could be the year that it drops. The more realistic guess is probably 2024, to be honest, which is kind of sad to see. It feels like we've still got so many years to wait before all these awesome Star Wars games are on the way, but to be honest, I don't really care when it is. I just want these games to launch, because the more Star Wars games we get, the better. With that being said though, obviously we don't know what the type of game that's going to be. It could be that tactical shooter type of game, or it could be a large scale game like Battlefront 2 was, for example. So if it is a game like Battlefront 2 and it's been made by Respawn, I think they will take their time with that. They took, I think, around 5 years to make Fallen Order, and so there is even a chance it could be like 2025. I have absolutely no idea. I think it's almost a safe bet to say that it probably will not possibly come out in 2022, which is obviously unfortunate. So I think the absolute earliest we could get it is 2023, and then there is a chance it could be 2024 or 2025 as well, just depending on the type of game as well as how long it's been in development. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about the announcement as well as some of the speculation in this video though, so be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments when you think it'll launch and what type of game you think it's going to be, as well as whether you guys think this could actually be linked to those rumors early last year. That is going to do it for this one though, guys. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like down below, and if you guys are new to the channel, then definitely hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you don't miss out on any upcoming Star Wars gaming content. If you guys want to support the content that I make here on YouTube, then consider supporting the channel over on Patreon. The links to that are down in the description. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.